People of the internet, welcome to this clusterfuck
Oh
of a week.
wait! I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. How
Yeah,
dare thee?
I'm sorry.
How dare you? Now, this week has been
Do over.
beautiful.
I just like we
Okay.
can't restart it, but
All right, everybody pause to simulate that we went live. Okay. People of the internet, welcome to this clusterfuck of a week. Lots of fascinating things, lots of stupidity going on around. Poor Catholic priest gets pushed off of his fucking preacher platform for fat shaming people. One bitch gets an award for inventing a chair that's anti-manspreading. Belly Delphine sells her bathwater only to be banned.
she was banned.
She was banned, yeah. Yeah,
I didn't get it in. I didn't order enough in time then.
Yeah, like like Instagram looked at that like, okay, this is too far, right? Like, what is there's
Shame.
so much,
Shame.
so much to talk about.
Is that apple cider vinegar just to polish your staples, Aziz?
Drinking apple juice, man.
So yes, let's get right into it. Welcome, guys, to the Soul Grinder, where respect is a suggestion. Let's welcome back a fallen hero. Welcome, Aziz. Welcome back. You have taken an L, but we got you. We're gonna bring you back up.
Thank you. I may have died, but I'm back. This world still needs me. There's still more sugar to be eaten, some way or another. Still,
So
I
tell
have
us.
I have watched the fall of Game of Porn. Now we're waiting for the Star of Wars to be fallen. Then I can die in peace. Yes.
We're of course referring to D&D and them pulling out of fucking Comic-Con because they know they're gonna be shat upon so fucking hard. Can you imagine the Q&A section if they were in? Like every person who shows up, it's like, how does it feel to be so shit? When you made this decision, what was going on into your brain and what magic bush were you smoking? You know, like all these magic questions that are coming. Some people like cosplaying as failures and having like saying, "Oh, I'm cosplaying as you guys." So many opportunities.
Right,
So
like on a
they-
scale of 1 to Chernobyl, how badly did you fuck up the last season of Game of Thrones?
Holy shit.
It will be recorded like as the most historic fall of a show, like from the top of the top to the bottomest of the bottom. One team, you know, you had one job.
I have to assume that Disney did a PR move here. They know that Game of Thrones, they know HBO's their competition, so they were fine when HBO got the worst of Game of Thrones from them. Now they're starting on Star Wars and they're going to work on that, and they don't want that negative publicity following them around. Like you have a clean plate. It's time for a fresh start. Don't go to Comic-Con. It's going to discourage you and everyone else, and everyone's going to laugh at you, and no one's going to care about Star Wars. So if I were you, there's probably some Disney executive that's like, if I were you, I wouldn't go outside for the next 3 years. You know,
Until the movie comes out, yeah.
Until you make your movie, and you'll probably start out strong because we know that you guys can make good seasons or good content when you have source material, and I'm pretty sure they have source material to work with, which is a plus. But as soon as they start going rogue, ooh, I'd watch out.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, it is one of these things when it comes to Star Wars. Is I don't think they can recover. I think the stigma's done with. I think they should do a movie or two and then they get cut, much like the guys before them, because there's no way that like anything is gonna save them from this Game of Thrones fail is going to follow them to the rest of their lives. That's what's going to be written on their gravestone, right? It's done. That's what they'll be remembered for.
Dude,
See,
for
but
some
I would've
people,
liked-
dude, it's for some people there are the bringers of misery, the bringers of the demise, of the destruction. But for others, there are the prophets. For me, at least, they are what we needed for the salvation, for the
Really?
successful.
Really?
Yes,
Game of Thrones falling is your salvation? Really?
Oh, dude.
Not clearing
Dude.
Palestine, not reclaiming the Holy Land. No.
Dude,
It's the fall of Game of Thrones.
baby, the problem. Every Islamic leader is dumb. That's their problems. They start when they like get something, they want to change. Remove alcohol, remove whoreum bitches. Let's conquer Palestine. It's baby steps to greater strides.
So are you telling us that D&D are part of the greater Islamic conspiracy? Is that what you're telling us?
I'm not denying, but not confirming. But it's all as it should be. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Aziz, you just need to smoke some of that good herb, take a step back, and chill. D&D will not be fine, and that's fine.
Dude,
But there are more
I'm
important
chilling
things.
already. I'm happy already.
dude,
All right?
dude,
Or
it's
just sit back
already
now and wait for Area 51.
the staples have gone into his brain. The staples are lead. I don't know what's going on there, but Aziz is thinking higher and higher and higher and higher.
Dude,
I am scared from that shit. Anyways,
No.
segue. A woman makes a fucking seat to prevent manspreading.
Yes.
Aren't there airplane seats made for that already?
No.
Man's what?
Yeah, to make everyone uncomfortable, right?
Okay, since
Exactly.
Aziz does not know what's happening, manspreading is the phenomena where you sit like a regular man and have your junk free, i.e., your legs are kind of like a V, right?
Yeah.
They're wide. You get air down there, right?
Yep, it's very comfortable. Some women claims this is called manspreading, and that's trying to enforce the patriarchy by taking a lot of space so women can't sit.
So
Right.
you think they should sit like this?
Yes.
But according to my sources,
Yeah.
they're very like legitimate high school sources. Back in the day, or I believe everything and anything they say to me because
Did
I
this
know
dude
nothing.
just say high school?
Yeah, back in my high school days. Any woman that sits like this, she's been impaled from the behind. 100%. They are promoting anal sex. This is what's happening. Yes.
No. So
I shit you not. That guy told me this unironically. If
Well,
the
hold
woman
on,
sits
Trillian,
like this, she's
let's hear him
no,
out. Let's hear him out.
I can't. It's too
Dude,
much. It's
dude,
reminding me of my
dude.
mom. I can't. I'm sorry.
The guy told me basically he's a man whore. He's been with a lot of women, according to him at least.
Okay.
Yeah, why do I know? What do I know? I'm just a man
Listen, the way I
enjoying
see it
his.
is that- well, the way I see it, there's two types of women that sit with their legs wide open: lesbians and feminists. And lesbians, because it's obvious, right? They're trying to invoke that whole male persona. So that's
And
a part of their
full of fish.
personality naturally. But feminists do it because they want to try to get on the men's nerves, right? So it's like, I'm going to annoy the men too. So you know what I'm going to do? And they sit and they lean back. They always lean back. Like, guys never do that. Guys just sit down, they lean back in the chair and they sit normally. But feminists always, there's a BuzzFeed video about this actually, where it's like a bunch of women started manspreading. And it just became, it was so annoying. Like they went on a train, they went on the bus, and they just started doing this, sitting down next to people, and on purpose start pushing their legs away. And what do you think happened? Like, people got upset, right? And it got a ton of downvotes, and that was the whole start of the manspreading conversation becoming mainstream, was, I think, through that video. And now it's escalated to the point where we have chairs now.
I heard her claiming the Holy Land and came immediately. I'm getting ready. I'm in the gym. We're reclaiming it.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
In a couple hours, bro.
So, you see, the funny thing about manspreading is
I'm doing it right now. Watch.
they made
Hey, man,
gave her
shut down by YouTube.
No, they gave her an award, right? You know, a trophy, because she designed the seat that's anti-manspreading. But you know that seat is never gonna catch on because it's uncomfortable. Nobody will buy it. Nobody will take it. Nobody will do anything with it.
Not only that, there is an alternative seat for women that was made by her for women that encourages women manspreading or spreading their legs. So she made two inventions, and if it doesn't scream sexism, I don't know what is, right? Because they like to say men and women are equal. They're not, spoiler alert, but they make one, and then she likes to say she's a feminist, so men and women are equal. But here's a chair for men, and now here's a chair for women. And the women are allowed to do the V, and the men have to crush their little dingalings.
This is all very interesting. This is what I came for. I have been locked in my house for like a week or two. I never saw the day of light till now. Of course, you guys are enlightening me with things.
Those crusaders, they made this chair, right? And it's like shaped like a pyramid, and it's like really sharp. And you just sit there, and it's
Sit there. Yeah.
Purpose.
No, it's definitely weird when people think it's a good idea to give a reward to somebody who makes a stupid invention.
It's not just stupid, though. It's flat out sexist too, which is like, considering the progressivism that everybody likes to preach nowadays. Like, you know that this was some radical leftists who made this invention, and then a panel of radical leftists that awarded her for her invention, and yet they're the same radical leftists that are still going to be preaching for peace and for equality and all the stuff that they themselves don't really believe in. And I think this is a metaphor of that.
Yeah, it's the same concept that, you know, logic is devoid from the regular far left mind, right? We want equality unless we're given an advantage. We want equality unless our agenda says otherwise. We want equality unless when it suits us. And it's overall just silly, horrible, and we have to tolerate it, and we don't. So,
I mean, might as well just don't make men be men. God damn it! Like, prevent manspreading. Like, just sit on a 4-hour flight in an airplane seat without manspreading, just to not annoy the person next to you. Your voice
really
will.
doesn't like airplane seats.
Yes, dude, your voice will go like
fucking 2 octaves higher.
Why?
No. Here's the thing. It's not the only case this week that happened. A poor professor of psychology in some university or another, I don't know, I don't remember, got kicked out of his job, or at least like they did not renew his contract on the basis that he publicly went against transgender agenda. Yeah, like, I'm not going to use gender pronouns.
It was in Canada, right? The whole,
Yep. Basically, he said it out loud, and they freaked, and they're like, "Okay, we can't renew your contract anymore. We're sorry." And he's like, "What the fuck?" And he's suing them. And good luck to him, because he, like, okay,
it's Canada.
Like,
it's Canada.
No,
damn it.
When was saying your opinion a bad thing? You know, shame is different. When you shame people for having a different opinion because it's dumb, that's okay. But outright banning people for saying things you don't agree with, that's just bad. That's just horrible.
But was there a Twitter hashtag though? That's my question.
I'm
voice.
sure there was. If
course,
anything,
I
though,
mean-
I do believe that this is an extension of what Jordan Peterson warned us about, where he said that he wasn't going to comply to
Didn't
the.
he get fired or some shit, or did he just quit?
I think he's too big for the now that the university. He works for the University of Toronto, right? Or
Yeah,
he works in Toronto, but like, yeah, the university kept him. They took a lot of heat for it, but he's just that big that he can get away with that, I suppose. But he warned people about it. I'm not going to subject myself to calling you what you want to be called based on the basis that I have to, that it's law. You can't control what I say. And he warned us, he warned Americans, he warned Canadians, he warned the entire free world, first world, excuse me, about where this is going, and that there's not enough problems, I suppose, to address. So this is what we're dealing with now.
I just can't see the end game, right? That's my problem here. Let's say all of this shit happens.
Well,
Things
yeah, I
will
can't
get
see the
better.
end game either. It's not on Netflix yet, bro.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
that was a nice one.
Bazinga.
Hey, that was a nice one.
No,
That
Get
was a nice one.
wrecked, kid.
Nice one.
no. Here's the thing.
Speaking of in-game, I just came to know that Thanatology is the study of death and decay. Thanatology. Thanos. Anywhere? Decay?
Oh my god. Thanatology sounds like Thanos. I just realized that. Wow.
The
Wow.
study of death and decay. The more
It's
you know.
almost like almost like that was almost like it was a
Almost
coincidence.
a coincidence.
Almost.
Dude,
Okay.
Thanology and decay. Decay is gonna be the decay of fucking Marvel franchise after just this fucking LGBTQ bullshit.
After the
Who's ready
freaking
for Captain
Spider-Man
Marvel?
movie, which was so bad.
Yeah.
Well,
From home. So bad.
You know, Aziz, no matter what you think about Marvel, no matter what you think about Game of Thrones or Star Wars, just know that I love you 3000.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
fuck you 3000.
Love you. 3001. It's
Now,
amazing.
if I can continue my point, you fucking filth. I can't see the far future of the fucking movement
Far
because
Future was a really good movie. I liked that.
There was a lot of great movies this year, actually. 2019 was a good year, you know, particularly for superheroes. I mean, Spider-Man wasn't the best.
ways you can say that they did not make a movie of.
Dude, 2019 didn't even finish and it's a fucking horrible year. I'm gonna get to that point later about the fucking movie franchise.
In
And
the comments,
fucking-
they're saying invite Khaled back. People are demanding him, I guess.
No!
Who's
no.
Khaled?
The porn professor himself.
Oh, that one. I like that one.
Oh, that one. I like that one. I like that motherfucker.
Fucking go on.
Fine, Trillion, get it out. Come on. You can do it.
I lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
Let me help you find that train again. All right. I'll find your ticket, pay for you, and everything. The point is, transgender pronouns are slowly getting mainstream attention, but they are also facing mainstream backlash, which is where the majority of the culture war is being fought. It's either on Twitter or on college campuses. And it's ironic because one of them is a place of education that should value the notion of different ideas and how they are going to coexist in this world. So the fact that you have professors being fired for having a different opinion that should be able to coexist with this new ongoing one that's starting to gain some traction, because I repeat, people don't hate transgenderism necessarily. They hate that they're being forced to accept it. But at the end of the day, it's just like religion. It's just something that people are going to pick and choose what they want to hear from or accept from.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
speaking of transgender.
just in time.
And this bit doesn't even work.
Oh, I never sutures left. Oh, goddamn.
Quality times here in Canada.
Hello,
Keep
guys.
it together, Aziz, literally. Keep it together.
Hi.
I can't keep it together. Dude,
Okay,
I've been locked in here
So-
for 2 weeks.
so Harry Potter.
Oh, we want to do this right
Oh.
now?
Is this thing
No.
working?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
it
on.
is. Yes, it is. Now, yeah, that was my train of thought. I can't foresee an end game for feminist propaganda, mainly because if you apply everything, shit don't get better, shit gets worse. And it gets to that thing where, you get that father who wants to enforce a system on his kids, and they're not listening because they can't listen. It's against everything they stand for. And then what happens is it's just enforce, unhealth, decay, death. And that's what feminist agenda is. Manspreading is bad because it doesn't exist. I don't know.
It's the same thing here, really, in Kuwait about the Shia Sunnah thing happening. It's people are okay. I have to live with you. I have to accept you as my fellow Kuwaiti human being, but I don't have to believe what you believe in. It's the same thing happening. It's people are forcing their ideologies and their beliefs upon others. It's religion. It's like transgender ideas. It's whatever. Like I like living my life with my own thoughts and ideologies without anybody force feeding me anything. I just I have to respect you as a human being, as a fellow countryman, as a fellow whatever. I will not harm you, but you don't have to.
Now, here's the funny
Hamoud
part.
joined the call.
What?
What?
No, ignore that. Here's the thing. You mentioned harm, right? And here's
Yeah.
the thing. We allow people to have their stupid opinions. We don't have to respect them. We don't have to tolerate them, but we have to let them exist, right? Just let it. You'll say your piece, I say mine, and we can agree to disagree, and that'll be that. What do this transgender the LGBT do? They push priests off their platforms for fat shaming.
Oh, here we
That's
go. This is your story this week. This is what you've been
Yes.
dying to talk about.
Yes, dude. Imagine this. I'm a priest, okay, high level, in Brazil, sitting down, 50,000 people listening to my Catholic preaching, right?
Oh yeah,
Then
you
I
would
say-
want to be a Catholic priest, wouldn't you? You weirdo.
Now, now he is saying that fat women will go to hell.
What a legend.
A reasonable argument. Okay, I can see where his thought process is coming
Which
from.
part of this is reasonable?
Yeah, where's the thought process here? I'd love to know.
Dude, I can see the thought process. Actually, I really can see it. It's visible. I
Yeah,
have
you
came to enlightenment.
Like you're too big to get into heaven? What?
No.
No, you can traverse this thought process, but that's not the point. Okay, he's saying his point, as are any person should. Okay, you can agree, you can disagree. And what does this lady do? She jumps off.
Did he just get swatted or something?
No,
Yeah, I
he
think
played- he played the video.
Give him a heads up.
Played the video.
FBI, open up.
FBI up.
now the poor priest gets pushed right off his platform. He's old. People in the priest in the background look like a god just been pushed on the platform. Oh my God, what just happened? And people go nuts.
Thousands of Catholics.
Yep. And all I can imagine is, when what's his name? Carlos Maza, that fucking piece of shit, said milkshake them all. Like, and basically, instead of listening, discussing with this priest, disagreeing with his very reasonable opinion, mind you, on the fat people will go, or fat girls will go to hell, they invoke violence. Well, let me tell you, if you invoke the violence rule against right-wing people, guess who's got the guns?
Yeah.
Okay. Look, Trillian. I understand your point that basically you shouldn't be violent against people just for having an outrageous opinion. But you have to admit, the thought of a priest being pushed off of a platform is funny as fuck. Send me the video.
That we
He hasn't
don't
even seen
deny
it, he
it.
knows it's
Nobody
funny.
denies it's funny. Nobody denies it's funny. But
Everybody laughed, but
dude, that guy, I don't know if I'm that old. Falling down there is like
yeah,
Funny. That's what it is.
God.
Funny.
there you go. Send the link in the fucking stream chat. There you go. Enjoy yourself. Now,
Enjoy your video. Yeah.
Dude, he went down harder than Kanye's new album.
oh yeah, yes, just flat-faced, I assume, just questioning his life choices. What? How did I get?
Dude, the thing is, like, if you want to reverse engineer the whole thing, I am the fat woman, Hadi. The fat women. And what do I have inside my mind that someone said, okay, you're fat, you're not going to heaven. Instead of just like good old middle finger, why do I have to get violent? Why do I have to push?
Okay, this is actually funnier than I imagined.
Yeah,
it to be.
like good old chubby middle finger to the priest. Like go on to him, pat him in the back. He do this, and you get a middle finger. It's funny. But why you did get violence? I don't understand the thought process. It's just
No, we've seen it.
between
We've seen
somebody
it.
says you're fat and a nosedive. It's
Dude, we've seen it all around. We've seen it all around. The Australian Prime Minister gets an egg on his face, and everybody's like, "Whoa!" Right? Antifa hits people. Everybody goes, "Whoa!" Okay, dude, the priest got pushed off the platform. What's the first thing that got to my hand or in my head? That's what you get for being in a failed Portuguese colony, you piece of shit. Ha ha ha! Right? Right?
And you have the Maza thing. He milkshake all the rightists, and then he goes on into one of his podcasts shaming people for getting violent, shaming rightists for getting violent in their like protests and whatever. Like he's a fucking hypocrite.
Yes, yes, and it's to me at least
This
be
is what
consistent.
the leftists do. It's just annoying.
Dude, okay, at least if you're a leftist, your method of violence should be starving people, not imposing violence on them, okay? You should up your game to match your ideology. You can't do that shit.
Again.
Antifa.
We go back. We circle back into feminism and whatnot, and we said at the very start, a very first stream, feminism is fueled by emotion, and almost all leftists' agendas are fueled by emotions. And what happens when you're fueled by emotions? You push a priest out of the stage. This is what happens. Emotion, too much emotion.
And then you're called.
You're super intellectual, Aziz. It's amazing.
And, no. And then you get referred to as brave. You get referred to as standing up for your kind, and by kind I mean fat people. You know, it's like
I
this
prefer
one.
I believe the term, the politically correct term, is big boned.
Big bone.
Big boned, and by bone I mean fat.
Excuse me, it's plus size.
Actually,
That's another good one. Yes.
Actually, the politically correct term is horizontally challenged.
Horizontally challenged.
You know, that one makes sense because I am vertically challenged. So, and I've heard that one before.
Oh, you mean you're a midget? Is that it?
I'm teetering on the line, but I'm not there yet.
Okay.
I've
So
already
you're
accepted
getting
the fact that when I get older and I start to shrink, I will be a midget. But time will tell.
No. What you need to do is you squanch your back, right, and then claim the midget card, and that gets you like anywhere you want. Like,
Oh, that gives me
religion.
my victim points. I can
Now
play
you
victim
can-
cards now.
Now you can push priests off of stages.
Yes.
Oh, it's the perfect strategy.
That's how it'll
I need to
go.
write that one down.
Moral of the topic: don't watch Captain Marvel. It's a shit movie. That's the moral of Captain Marvel's story is the feminism movement of using too much emotions. And after you watch that movie, you're gonna push priests of any church you want.
And you're
Why
gonna
is
buy
it?
that.
I have to ask, why is it that all the feminists, they love Captain Marvel, even though it's one of the most hated Marvel movies ever, but they despise Wonder Woman, even though it's one of the most cherished superhero movies out right now, and it shows a female in a strong light as well. Like, what's
Oh, it's very
Because Wonder Woman appeals to the male fantasy.
is that
No.
what really they're rolling with that argument?
Of course.
Probably.
No, look.
Just because
Look
she
at this.
shows a little skin? Wonder Woman's always shown skin.
No, it's not that. Look. You got Captain Marvel, right? She shows up in the movie, and then there's that big fight where she has to prove that she's better than her mentor villain figure, right? And
Why are you spoiling this masterpiece for me, my friend?
and then what
Fuck you.
Now, that guy, there was an initial scene setting this up where they wrestle, and that guy beats her because she was repressing her power, right? So now that her power is unlocked, he's like, let's go back to wrestling. Prove that you can beat me. Prove that you're focused. And then she blasts him with her Captain Marvel ray. And
Hey, that's
then
not
she's
wrestling.
like, yeah.
Shows up fucking church.
Yeah, and then she says, I don't have to prove anything to you. And then the feminists cheer in the background. Feminists
They
are against
just
sexual.
all spontaneously squirt on the theater.
Yep. And then you go to Wonder Woman, and it's actually building characters correctly. Now, we've established feminists and logic are not intertwined, right? So when they see a logical character development, right, that's common sense and good and pleasant, they're like, that makes me feel weird. Logic, right?
Basically, the problem.
Since you guys brought up Wonder Woman, you guys reminded me of my favorite Meninist moment. Basically, when they first showed Wonder Woman, in one cinema, in one fucking city in the US, they made it so that the premiere showing, only women can enter it. Men can't enter that showing. And the entire internet exploded over it for a while.
See, but that's my point, is that feminists, Wonder Woman was always the very first feminist icon, superhero-wise. And they've disregarded her. Like, they threw away like she's trash. Now it's all about Captain Marvel. And it's so blatantly obvious how they keep running into the fire. It's like, here's this character that's very divided. You know, the only people that really like her are the SJW crowd. Everyone else will either tolerate her or doesn't like her at all. Wonder Woman is cherished and loved by everyone and still promotes a strong female character message that's also fair. And let's be honest, part of Wonder Woman's character is to learn how to live in the world of man. And that's why she appeals to both sides very well. They don't want that, even though she was the very first one to push that agenda.
Dude, seriousness aside. Wait. Seriousness aside. Wonder Woman is so fucking feminist. She rides an invisible jet. She doesn't want to ride anything visible.
No. The idea of Wonder Woman is anti-feminist. The idea of even though I despise Wonder Woman, the idea is anti-feminist. She leaves Themyscira, which is feminist heaven, basically. She leaves Themyscira. Yeah, whatever the name is. This is how the Arabic cartoon Themyscira. They leave Themyscira, which is feminist. She leaves the feminist heaven to kiss Batman. Basically, this is what happened. This is like anti-feminist agenda.
That's why they calling her.
That's actually a very good point, because the thing about Captain Marvel, she is not in love with a male character.
She's a gold digger.
No, but see, this is a good mess. Is that why the feminists don't like? Is that why the feminists don't like Wonder Woman anymore? Because the dick was calling and she answered the call.
No, dude, the monkey was calling. It's Batman.
I mean, you can't say no to Batman. I'll be honest, but it's like, I don't know. It just seems so weird to me. Like, even Wonder Woman came first. movie-wise, and feminists hated it. And it's
I
like,
do
this,
want-
this is your character. How?
No,
I think
let
they
me
hate
extend
her
this.
because I think they hate her because men like her.
Yes.
As stupid as that sounds, it actually makes sense.
Yes. Again,
Actually,
How
doesn't
many
sound
times-
stupid at all.
How many times we tried to ban feminism from the stream? It's just we circle
No.
back every single time.
No, we didn't do it for 2 streams. There's like a pattern going. That's why we established it. But let me extend this further. All right. I went to watch Men in Black, the new one, but Men in Black 4, right? And there are 2 people that hated the movie. I love the movie personally, but the people who didn't watch it for one of 2 reasons. Either they didn't like that Will Smith wasn't there, which is stupid. The movie was better without Will Smith.
Yes.
Or they were people who thought because there was a female protagonist now that this is feminist agenda movie, and therefore they got angry and did not go and watch it. And this is what this era brought us, right? This is what Captain Marvel brought us. Men in Black, the new one, was brilliant. It was great. It was all you expect out of a dumb alien CIA film. Everything you wanted. Even the feminist agenda, that even if you stretch it far enough, you can view it as such, was tame and pleasant and used for comedic purposes, right? So, which is the
Let
main.
me guess, though. Let me guess. She's the smart one, and Chris Hemsworth plays the dumb guy that's lucky to be in that position, just like every American sitcom ever.
Incorrect. That's the funny part. Chris Hemsworth was playing the rogue who is built for leadership, but his life circumstance at that moment is at a low point. And then he meets this girl who jumped into MIA because she basically hacked into them because she knew they existed, but, long story. But they hire her because of her skill, right? And she's trying to make a name for herself. And she sees the rogue who everybody dislikes, but has a lot of experience. And she basically says, if I leech off that guy, I'm going to make it up. So she goes with him, right? He sees her. He likes the cut of her jib. He lets her join in. And then they both, thrive of each other's chemistry, right? They develop as characters. They go on adventures. And then they interact. And they're both their own people. And it's just fun to watch, right?
Nobody was pulling the weight of anyone else. Both of them,
I was about to legally appropriate the movie to today, but I forgot about the stream and why it has low ratings. I don't get it. Without spoiling the movie for me, because I want to watch it today or tomorrow. Why it has low ratings?
Very simple. 1, Will Smith isn't in it, and people attach the movie universe of Men in Black to Will Smith, even though he was horrible in the movies, right? And even though the movie is superior to the older Men in Blacks in every way possible, because here's the plot of Men in Black. A villain shows up and he kills everybody except the main characters. He suddenly loses the kill everybody mode when he faces the main characters, right? They find a plot device, and then they fight for the plot device. They beat the bad guy, and then plot device saves the world. That's the fucking Men in Black film. There's no hero's journey. It's just dumbness, right? You go to this movie, there is a hero's journey for both characters. There is a cost to be paid and a sacrifice to be made in the end. There is great character interaction, an actual threat, an actual plot. The villain actually does something. There is misdirection of a
Trillion lags.
Oh, it's not just me this time. Beautiful. All right.
But look at his face. I need to capture that face. No, it's gone. It's gone.
No.
The face is beautiful.
Wow, it's beautiful. Beautiful.
Here's one thing, Aziz. I won't spoil to you, but I'll just tell you this. It's the only Men in Black movie I actually enjoyed.
All right. That's great. That's great.
Mhm.
Yeah, good. I'm gonna legally appropriate the movie since I cannot leave the house anytime soon. So yeah, that's amazing.
Legally, huh?
Legally appropriate the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But look at Trillian's face. It's still there.
I'm trying to capture it. Like I'm trying to get the camera on him, but it just goes black
I'm
every
trying.
time.
No. My phone is superior to yours.
I screenshotted it on my PC.
All right.
Beautiful.
It's amazing. It's really.
Well,
Blink
I
twice.
guess we gotta wait now because he's got the topic list. I don't know what's next. What have we established? Feminism is getting out of control. Captain Marvel's bad, according to Babushka. Actually, according to Babushka, Captain Marvel is really, really bad. Wonder Woman sucks now, apparently, and Men in Black was good.
Yes.
Did we talk about Black Little Mermaid yet? I like that one.
You like the change, or you like the
No,
topic?
I like the topic. That was the good topic.
It's an interesting one. I'm split because I know that the move to make her black was politically charged, but at the same time, I don't care about a cartoon fish. They could have made her anything, really.
Actually, you know what? For The Little Mermaid, I wish they go full SJW for one simple reason. Ursula was based and inspired by a drag queen. And I hope they bring a drag queen to play Ursula, because that would be at least 200 times funnier.
Yeah,
I
I agree. The first time we agree on something, Gabby. That's great.
I think Ursula is being played by Melissa McCarthy. Yeah. What has she been in? She's been in Mike and Molly and The Heat. It's Sandra Bullock.
She should be played by Caitlyn Jenner.
I really want the mermaid's dad
back.
to be Jackie Chan. I think that would be good for the adoption movement.
Dude, I demand a black Jackie Chan. Up to you guys. He's Asian.
Jackie Chan is an actor.
Up to you. I don't care.
You wanted to pull on first Michael Jackson.
I don't care.
Jackie Chan is a concept. Excuse me.
Exactly.
They need to make an autobiographical movie about Jackie Chan and cast a black person to play him.
While he's still alive.
Yes.
Starring Kevin Hart.
And I want.
No, please no. Please no.
Whoa. We have to discuss this now. What is your problem with Kevin Hart? I mean, I don't like him either, but you were adamant about it. No,
Dude.
no Kevin Hart.
Dude, he fucking sucks. He's a pussy in every movie. He's dependent on The Rock mostly. His jokes sucks on the level of Adam fucking Sandler, but the black version.
And the short version. Oh, sorry,
Yes.
vertically challenged version.
Yeah, there we go. Let's be PC about it.
There is one extra element to this. You have to, you guys forget that he sounds annoying.
Well, yeah.
Dude,
It's
he's
like
So
if you
that's
take a black
because he
man
has a
and-
black accent, Trillion Packs? Is that what you're saying?
Is
No,
that
no,
racism I hear?
Because of his hood voice?
dude.
No,
Kevin Hart sounds like a sexually frustrated Kendrick Lamar.
that's accurate.
I don't know if I want to debate that or not. Actually, that might be the best description I've ever heard.
Dude, I don't listen to Kendrick because he sounds like a fucking toddler.
I don't see. I don't listen to. I can't stand some Kendrick songs because he does that voice. Like,
PM to the AM funk. Like, stop.
yeah, it's like he's trying to sound like a 3-year-old who just learned to talk.
He
Now he's
sounds
trying
like
to
that
read
clip of like a baby crying in autotune.
But in other songs, when he has that low voice, and he doesn't use it, yeah, I know that, right? Like in those high pitched ones, he almost sounds like he's using autotune. But when he gets down into that low voice, like when his song "Swimming Pool," I liked that, but I didn't like it when he started doing that voice in between verses. I'm gonna listen to me, Kendrick. Blah, 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 Kendrick. Yeah. I don't know. He's. I like him, but he can be hit or miss for me sometimes.
Yep. That's why I listen to J. Cole mostly.
That's why I listen to Slim Jesus, who is.
Shut up.
Slim
Okay.
Jesus. What a legend.
Oh, it's Slim Jesus. That explains why fat ladies can't go to heaven.
It's all connected, guys.
No, I want to move on to another topic, which is something I'm very
Yes, I
pleased
do
with
as
for a
well.
change.
Hold on. Are you still at the gym?
No, he took a bus
No.
ride, I think.
I walked home. That's why there
Oh.
was wind. Sponsored by Jeff Subway guy. Is he still in jail?
Possibly.
Jeff Subway.
Now, we talked about a lot of stupidity. Let's talk about something that happened that I like, which is the YouTube recommended.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
PewDiePie is finally showing up on my recommended. Okay, I don't enjoy PewDiePie that much, but I like that he's back, and I like that there are no Jimmy fucking stupids live talk shows on my recommended, and I like that it's recommending the things I actually like and things I want to click on.
Okay,
I'm
but
clicking
you
on my
like
recommended.
PewDiePie?
He's there.
Like, I get what you're saying. Just don't kid yourself. I'm watching things that I actually want to like or I want to watch. PewDiePie?
No, he
It's a
gets
step in the right
recommended at
direction.
least. He gets recommended at least, because sometimes I enjoy it. Depends on the video, right? And I would like to have that as an option. I don't want to have to go to his channel every time, which I never do.
My point
And
proven.
now I don't have.
He played Minecraft with James Charles.
Who is that? Is that the guy who like tried to get another man? to
Hey,
sleep with him?
sisters!
Exactly.
Oh, that guy.
That guy who looks like a Minecraft guest.
Yep.
What was the video about? Did PewDiePie play Minecraft where James Charles put makeup on his face, or?
No.
They played Hunger Games.
No, they're promoting the new Minecraft makeup.
Good game. But also, Louis, you can put this video as a mukbang in the description. Get more views. You're welcome.
Ooh. The pro strat YouTube moves.
I got you.
Now,
Dude,
here's the thing. Here's why I like this. The YouTube recommended being good is because for 6 months it's been horrible.
Yes.
It's been like right now a step into the right direction. I really hope that petition to fire fucking this Jiggy has finally like taken enough attention for YouTube to be like, okay, time to pull our shit together. Time to actually.
They fixed monetization too. They fixed a lot of things. They fixed claims. They fixed monetization, and now I just heard from you they fixed recommended. So yeah, they're doing a lot of good recently.
Yeah,
I'm surprised, but yeah.
Yeah, because they lost a lot of money. So much money was lost on this feminist movement and SJW and Carlos Maza, Fox Apocalypse. All of that crap has cost YouTube tremendous amounts of money. And if you look at like channels like Steven Crowder and Tim Pool and those people who criticize the left and the right and who actually speak reason, their subscriber count has tripled, doubled, increased tremendously because people are getting angry and they wanted to hear people being angry with them. And the YouTube people realize, okay, people are not subscribing to the agenda that that YouTube is telling us, or that the SJWs are telling us is the popular thing, that mainstream media is telling us is the popular thing. We have to do something about this. And to prove it, I watched this on Tim Pool. Trump's approval ratings as a president peaked this week, right? Now, you got to take polls with a grain of salt always, but that does tell you something, is that people are not as angry about Trump as the media is telling you they are. Because despite the stupid shit he says, a lot of things he did were good and they were productive for the American people. And people notice when you treat them right. The economy is better. People are getting more jobs. There are some stances people don't agree with, but look at North Korea, right? So it makes sense for...
Wait.
I caught that too.
Wait.
What?
We
What?
were talking about YouTube. We were talking about fucking...
Yes. Can I go full circle, you fucking jerks?
Dude,
Hold
stop
on, I just have to say
stop
this.
being a
I have
fucking balloon.
Let
Stop
me
expanding the
continue.
topics. Okay, go on.
We
It's
have some
relevant.
policies that we don't agree with, but North Korea, guys.
No, here's the thing. I'm putting examples, okay, for the approval rating thing. Now, you see this, and you notice YouTube and people in general are noticing, companies are noticing that SJW agenda is bringing them down. And that if you just do the right things, you stand up. YouTube's actions are pleasing me with this. That's what I'm trying to say here.
I hate
Okay,
to.
can you go through the North Korea example one more time?
the thing about the Trump, even recently with the stupid tweet he wrote about the congresswomen, and it's amazing how this tweet, which when you read it once, you think, okay, like Trump is gone, but when you go through it like multiple times, he is rightly on the line of racism, but he did not cross it. Like it's just there.
Oh, are you talking about the 4 women thing? The fucking...
Yeah, we'll get to that.
The problem with the 4 women situation. Wait, you said you're gonna get back to that? Because
No, actually, let's do it right now. There's no planning in this stream.
all right. So about Trump saying that about the women. Now, here's the deal. I know that the media tries to, portray Trump as more racist than he may or may not be. I don't know. I don't know the guy. But the thing is, that situation is a little bit sticky for multiple reasons. First, you have the tweet when he said, if you don't like the country, you can leave. This tweet, people took it and it went to Congress, and should we condemn it as racist or not? The problem is, then he went to a rally, and that rally is where shit went down, because he was talking about the women, and then suddenly everybody started chanting, "Send her back, send her back, send her back," and he let them say it for 11 seconds. People count to 12 seconds, and not only that, but there is another problem. It was, I think, in North Carolina. And while he's in that rally, he said, "You either love it or you leave it." Now, what's the problem with this line? Love it or leave it. It's a slogan by the KKK, and specifically the KKK in the place he was in, North Carolina. That's one of their slogans. And people are like, this is too specific to be a coincidence. So everybody is firing down on Trump because they're saying that he essentially, gave them the signal. He didn't tell them to say that. He let them chant for 12 minutes, but he gave them the signal. And a lot of people, they interviewed some right-wing people, they say, we understand that there are a lot of things Trump isn't allowed to say because of the media, because of the government. So what we do is try to understand what he tries to say and say it. This is why this situation in particular is very sticky. It's not just the tweet. It's the tweet, the rally, the chant in the rally, the slogan in the rally. Shit is going down. Let's just put it this way.
Trump is
This is all a distraction for the arrest of Jeffrey Epstein. He got arrested.
Oh, Jeffrey Epstein.
This is all a distraction.
That's a guy whose job is literally going around rich people and giving them child slaves. And they caught him for that. And guess what? Allegedly.
Just saved all of our asses here.
That's some of the blacklist type of shit. Oh,
And guess what? He was with Trump and he was with his son. I think it was his son or Jared Kushner, I'm not sure. The people around Trump. He was with them. And that was basically allegedly his job his whole life. So that also, it's not a good week for Trump.
Well, specifically, I actually think
but according to Trillion, sorry to cut you, Louis, but according to Trillion, approval rate is up this week. So how can you say it's not good? Like what's happening, if we connect all the dots, everything is happening is for favor of Mr. Trump, not against him.
Well, because it depends, like Trillion said, where you get the poll from. On the left, everyone is saying that his poll numbers are at an all-time low. And it's just a matter of who do you look for? Are you watching CNN or are you watching Fox News? They are going to tell you two completely different stories that aren't necessarily untrue. It's just a matter of CNN's going to go to California and ask what people think about Trump here versus Fox News is going to go to North Carolina and ask what people think there.
The left says Trump's approval rates are so low, they're almost as low as Obama's.
And but that's a thing that surprisingly nobody ever understands. Is that a president's approval rating is always significantly lower while he's in office, and then once he leaves, it skyrockets quickly, because then you realize that there's somebody else who's dealing with the shit hitting the fan, and all of a sudden, it doesn't matter if it's a distant memory, the person who came before him was suddenly better because you've already lost the consciousness memory of what that person did versus what this person is doing now in the moment.
Yeah, look at George Bush. Now he's doing like paintings and people clap for him like he's an old grandpa. It's like, didn't you go to war? And they're like, please.
Like people, Democrats especially, they look at Bush and they're like, we thought this guy was nuts. And they look at Trump and they compare a Republican to another Republican and they're like, we'll take him back in a heartbeat. And he's just sitting over there like, oh yeah, now you want me. I made a couple mistakes. I said Brazilian instead of billion, and you guys laughed at me and said that I was the dumbest piece of shit ever to walk through. One racist tweet, and all of a sudden you want me back. The ultimate ironic circle that we go through.
You know what's funny? Trump made people like Mitt Romney.
Yes.
And John McCain.
It's like, dude, John McCain is worshipped in this country now. And do you know how much baggage he has? Do you know how much stuff people could pull up about John McCain that's bad, that they could use against him and his family politically? And nobody even references it anymore. Why? Because you don't have to. You have an orange man in office with a chant designed by his opposition to go, orange man bad, orange man bad. There is no going back to the competition. That doesn't matter anymore. Everyone who came before Trump is suddenly a saint. That is the Trump effect.
I do want to segue to something was said, which is that, what was it? It was something to the effect of that Trump was signaling to people, right? And the leftists have this fun thought where everything is signaling and everybody's saying these things that are signaling. And I've looked at the analysis videos of these fucking signaling things. And let me tell you how much of a pile of bullshit they are, right? Here's the thing. Trump could have said this to get some KKK people to vote for him. But let's not make it into a Klan rally, okay? That's okay. Let's not pretend like Trump is sitting there. It's like, okay, guys, get him. No, this is stupid, okay? And I have to stand against this. Everything right now, anybody, like I say, I like turnips. Is turnips a secret word for racism? And
spicy ones.
Yeah, no, thank you. I will put emphasis on this. The left does this a lot. They sit down and they're like, this man said this word. Like, what was it? Jordan Peterson said Fourth Reich in one of his lectures. And then he said, sorry, Third Reich, and continued his lecture on Hitler, right? And what did the leftist people say? Oh, he's signaling. He's signaling. And I'm like, what the fuck? How much of a stretch do you have to go to say that that's signaling? No, it's utterly ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous.
Here's the deal. The part I disagree with Trump in this whole situation, he has a very natural talent in putting himself in a shitty situation. It's weird. Like, it's I look at this and I'm not like, oh, he's, saying this to the KKK. I'm like, that's gotta hurt. Like, don't get the vote somewhere else.
It was a dumb move, probably, but it won't be the first or the last, and it never stopped him.
Well, yeah.
It never stopped him.
But
for some reason, people dig it.
Because I have to ask this though, because there is this theory, this conspiracy theory, that, and this has to do with the four women specifically. Again, Nancy Pelosi, who represents the moderate Democrats, the moderate left, versus the four congressmen, which are the leaders of the new progressive radical left. They were arguing amongst themselves, and so people believed that the Democratic Party was going to separate between the moderates and the radicals, and the conspiracy theory goes as followed, that Trump caught on to this and didn't want the moderate Democrats to distance themselves from the radical Democrats because the radical Democrats are more disliked than the moderates. So he decided to make a racist comment so that the moderates would be forced to unite against him and thus be put in the same category as the radical leftists again. So it's like when you look at the Democratic Party, you are seeing the radical left and not the moderate going up against Trump. And so when people are weighing the options, they think Trump is really the moderate compared to the radicals because all the Democrats are in that pile now.
That's a little bit dumb.
It's a stretch too, in my opinion.
It's better for the conservatives, for the Democrats to separate. Because that means separated votes.
Oh no, they got that down already. Don't worry, they did that to themselves.
They have 20 candidates right now running. Yeah.
No, here's the deal. If you separate the Democratic Party to the extremists and the moderates, which honestly should happen, because it will give my boy Andrew Yang a chance. He's the only good candidate. He's the only good American candidate in decades. I can talk about this for days. Honestly, he doesn't even belong in the Democratic Party. He should move. He should be independent or Republican. But the point is, if they separate, which I think is good, that's basically leaving the extremists to rot in their place. Because most of people who vote Democrats are not voting Democrat. They're just voting not Republican. So if you give them a platform that separates from the extremists, you basically trap them. You lock them in a place where nobody would support them, unless the very vocal minority in California would support them. But besides that, honestly, I think most Americans and most Democrats, if you give them a reasonable voice, they'd follow it. But they don't have one yet. I think
that's pretty much it. Yeah, they had their choices were Bernie or Hillary. They rigged it for Hillary because they're dumb. And I think they're going to do it for Biden this time. And I don't think Biden can take Trump.
Yep.
Well, here's the interesting part. I originally thought Biden had a good chance against Trump, but it was mainly based on the merit that he had with Obama. In other words, Democrats worship Obama, especially now with Trump in office. So if Biden gets support specifically from Obama being linked to him as the vice president, then it could help him be on par with Trump. The problem is that Biden doesn't want Obama's help. He wants to do this on his own, as he's publicly stated. And this is one of those times where I'm like, dude, if somebody offers you something for free, you take it. Obama's your best chance to win this, actually. And the interesting thing about the remaining candidates, specifically Bernie, is that I think Bernie is running into a lot of ironic barricades at the moment. Specifically, there was a story that broke out. Tim Pool broke it out today. Trillian, you might have seen it. Is Bernie Sanders, who is a huge advocate for $15 an hour minimum wage for the entire country, is losing a lot of staffers this week because they're not being paid $15 an hour minimum wage like he promised. So he can't even practice what he's preaching.
I doubt Bernie has a chance.
I thought he had a chance the first time. I
the
definitely
first
thought
time,
he was.
not this time.
Yeah, this time
Yeah.
I think it's too late for him. He had his chance. I'm kind of disappointed that Hillary's not back. I want to,
Don't jinx it. Okay, there's still a chance.
No, I want her. I want her. I miss her.
So the
I
candidates are
You missed
Joe
the
Biden
meme.
and Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, and the winner, Hillary. They do it. They do it. Dude, Democrats rig elections so much you'd think it's the Middle East.
I saw a funny joke. I think it was a meme actually, where somebody said Trump said something and then the Democrats got upset, right? And then there was a comment that said, "Gee, I haven't seen the Democrats get this mad since the Republicans made them give up their slaves."
That's a true story, actually. That's a very true story.
Because people forget that the Democrats have historically been the, I won't say evil, but I'll say less than ethically moral party in American history.
Yep.
It's tremendous. It's tremendous. The irony of the Democratic Party, right? It's beautiful.
Like, I at least appreciate the Republicans being stupid out front, right? Like you have candidates that are like, oh, women can't get pregnant off of rape, right? Like you have on the Republican end, you have those people. On the Democrats, you have like the pseudo intellectuals that are trying to preach to you about being inclusive and being equal to everyone else, and then they use identity politics, and they think you won't notice. And I personally think it has been and will continue to be their downfall.
Okay.
You know who I miss? You know who I miss this election? Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz?
Oh, Teddy.
No, isn't it really?
I missed him. He was a darling.
Oh, you gotta love Ted Cruz.
Oh, he'll be back.
No.
He'll be back after, you know.
We shall never surrender.
He will definitely be
I
back
missed
in
the
2020.
Adobe guy.
No, here's the thing.
Was it Adobe? Which one was it? Avast?
No.
What's his name?
Okay, while you find the name.
Abby, you gave him to me.
Okay. Keep going.
All right, sure. So, what would you rather have? You know, this is the Democratic versus Republican Party. Do you want to have the CrossFit vegan guy, or do you want the guy who's like, do you want the guy who just said something stupid and you laugh? What's better? You got to swear on the Bible. You got to swear on the Bible. So a Muslim cannot be a candidate. And you're like, oh my God, this is hilarious. And then you go to the guy who's like, funny thing is, vegan, if you go vegan, the statistics say that you die on Mount Everest. Which one do you go for? Which one do you go for?
Dude, I don't get how men can, like, in the US date a vegan woman. It's preposterous. No matter how much beauty this woman has, the fact that she's a vegan, it's repulsive. It's super repulsive.
As is. We've established that men go as far as fucking chickens. You think they won't fuck a vegan?
Fine. You're okay. Okay, you're fine. You're fine.
John McAfee. Yeah, I like that one. That was the good one.
But still, like, okay, one-time stand, maybe fine. Like, we're talking about marriage, relationship. Imagine you wake up in the morning, and instead of fucking eggs and bacon, you have like quiche and whatever the other thing. I don't know.
Quiche and kale.
Quiche and kale, yes, the KKK, exactly. Why would you? Dude,
Quinoa.
yeah, quiche and kale. Yeah, quiche and kale and quinoa. These. Like,
The
why?
funniest thing as a Middle Easterner is watching vegans talk about hummus like it's a godsend, like it's rich people food. Here it's like fried. It's the McDonald's of the Middle East.
McDonald's of the Middle East.
It's the thing you get for like 2 cents. You know, like
Dude, you know what we call hummus where I'm from? We call it cement. Like, oh, I'm eating some cement with bread. That's how we call it because it's just like, it's just this everyday food that you're sick of.
Dude, imagine that's your everyday. Imagine you're going like to a restaurant. You want to like go to get a steak, to get a burger.
Can I have hummus and fries?
Like, it's repulsive. Like when your woman eats in front of you and you are fighting over the bite. This is romance we're talking about here. This is true romance. Like when you fight over a bite, when both of you have some mayonnaise right here, like this is romance. This is fucking romance. Oh,
you
my
can't do
stomach.
romantic with fucking hummus here. You know, like it's. I mean, maybe it works here, but not there.
Dude, people misunderstand. Dude, I've been married, thank God, like for 4 years and counting, hopefully. And the fake romance things that people put in the media, the flowers and the whatever, it's all not true. The romance are the dumb things you do together. Are the simple things in life. These are the trauma. Food, it's what you bond over. You bond over when you go to a breakfast and your wife tells you, when you tell your wife, what do you want for breakfast? Like a salad? She replied, am I a joke to you? I want fucking meat on my breakfast. This is true romance right here. This is you get what I'm getting to here.
I'd have to get with a woman that eats meat.
In the US, vegans make the pets go vegan. Do you understand this?
At that point, it's abuse.
No.
Holy shit.
You know who are the poorest people who suffer
Children.
from the vegan? No, from the vegan plate. It's not children. It's chefs. Let me tell you why. Right? You see those health conscious people, gluten-free, vegan, all that stuff, right? And they come and they go to the chef and then they tell him, I'm vegan. I want everything. Like I don't want even a touch of. If you just handled meat, I don't want your hands on my food. And they'll sue and they'll do all these bad things.
People hate chefs. Hate 3 people. Chefs hate 3 people. People with allergies, vegans, and Muslims.
That's fucking amazing.
I swear to God. Imagine I'm going to a restaurant and I tell the chef no alcohol whatsoever. Like in an Italian restaurant where they pour the wine in their pants, everything is with wine. Like it's like the chef. In Olive Garden, West Virginia, I created a dish over there. Like I saw beef ribs on the menu, and in the States there is no beef ribs. Ribs comes with the swine. So when I saw beef ribs on the menu, like my eyes sparkled and I told the waiter, I want this, but no wine, no alcohol. But he said, sir, the sauce itself, it's wine. I replied, can you change the whole sauce and you put Alfredo fucking damn sauce instead of your sauce? And he was like, what the fuck you're talking about? This is not
Alfredo ribs, you fucking genius.
Dude. And okay, guys, wait a second. He went back to the chef and came back. All right, we will do it. Beef ribs with Alfredo sauce and macaroni stuffed ribs Alfredo.
Buonissimo! Buonissimo! It's a fantastic!
Dude, Muslims in the restaurant. Does this bacon have pork in it?
Does this bacon have pork?
It's one of the funniest thing about Muslims, right? They drink alcohol, and that's fine with them, right? They go to the States, they drink alcohol, and they do all these wonderful, like they whore, they do everything except eat pork. It's one of the weirdest fucking limitations on the Muslim diet.
To be honest, it's psychology understandable. It's because the way you grow up, adultery is forbidden, but everybody knows it's fun. But swine looks disgusting.
No, I don't think. No.
You want to eat a creature that looks like this?
No. I think it's deeper. I think it's deeper. I think it's ingrained in the language. Let me explain.
Khanzir.
Like, do you want to eat pork? Yes. Do you want to eat khanzir? No.
Fucking no. That even
Holy shit, that's genius. They eat pork in Lebanon because in Lebanon it's called hallouf.
Hallouf.
Holy shit. Holy shit, you cracked
Hallouf. When I eat hallouf, it's like look like this. Hallouf.
Yes. Yes, it's so pleasant. It's language.
Yeah.
That makes. I cracked the code. People.
Khanzir. No, they don't want to in the US culture and the Western cultures, they see the pig as adorable, which I think I did not understand until like way back. Like when I was young, when I see like a animated cartoon or something, and I see some character calling a pig adorable, it's like it's confusing. Like this creature looks disgusting. How can you say it's adorable?
Even though delicious. I know,
yeah, adorably delicious.
Dude, in Japan they have pigs as pets.
Yeah. Japanese, they worship the pig. He's so kawaii and whatnot.
I'm pretty sure Japan has octopuses or octopi for pets, so it doesn't even. Why are we referencing Japan as a source of sanity?
I guess
we're not. We are pointing out one more reason. We're pointing out one more reason to nuke Japan again. All right.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of octopus pets, it does segue to a topic I want to mention, which is Belly Delphine getting banned off Instagram.
What?
Right?
It segues perfect. We're talking about octopus. You need to work on your segues and your analogies.
No, because Belly Delphine has a video. No, listen.
We're talking about Captain Marvel, and then we talk about North Korea, and then he goes from
No.
Look, here's why this makes sense. Let me tell you why. Let me defend my case here. Right? When you guys last week told me about Belle Delphine selling her bathwater, I'm like, what the fuck is this? I had to understand. So I opened her Instagram and I started scrolling. And she has a video, which is with a lot of views, where she pets a dead octopus in her fridge. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Right? And it's blowing up.
Dude, this is some like, oh, holy shit, dun dun. This is some SVU shit.
This is some FBI open up shit.
It's so fucking weird. She was so fucking weird.
They'll bring the whole Quantico right here. Oh shit, we need a profiler.
Look, I'm gonna pay a tribute before I go to the topic.
Okay.
Today or yesterday, we lost a fallen smart soldier called Belle Delphine. She sold her bathwater to fucking weebs and weirdos. She increased the muscle mass size of all population to 15%, mainly focused on the forearms and biceps. Let's pray and put our hats down for this fallen soldier.
No, thank you. No, thank you. No. She played the game, right? She
Exactly.
she went to every fucking weeb, right? All their fantasies. You know, pale skin, pink fucking hair, and weird faces. All the she broke the puzzle piece, right? And then she was like, if I get to this goal, which is whatever millions followers, I'm gonna make a Pornhub account. And then she did nothing on Pornhub besides troll people. And she was like, for my next stunt, I'm gonna sell my bathwater. She was honest, and her honesty got people to buy more.
Dude, I think we got this wrong. We said we need a profiler, but she is the fucking profiler. Holy shit!
Yeah.
I think she failed FBI school and became that. She put all her knowledge and shit into understanding weeb, to petting a fucking dead octopus. That has come from somewhere.
Do you know what's
Dude.
funny, Aziz?
Yeah.
Look.
Sure.
Do you,
She's genius, fucking genius.
wait.
She's
Do you know?
not.
Do you
No,
know what's
she is.
funnier, Aziz? Do you know what's fucking funnier? When she made the Pornhub account, she posted a video of her stroking 2 cocks, which is 2 chickens.
Like,
Oh,
she trolled people.
Pornhub account.
Here's the deal. This is why I don't think she's a genius. You know, like Trillian, you talk about like breaking the Rubik's cube. It's weebs we're talking about. If there were a Rubik's cube, there'd be a 2x2. They're easy. They're easy to break. You know, like the formula was out there always. She's the first to actually do it. That's the thing.
Well,
So,
here's the thing. I understand what you're saying, but what is the first rule for The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene? The first rule is find a weakling to abuse. That's the first act of The Art of Seduction.
She found that
Don't
inkling.
go-
yeah. And I'm telling you, like weebs are everywhere. So, and they're very easy to crack. That's the thing. And the thing about Belle Delphine, and honestly, this is what I think is the only thing that made her popular, is that usually e-thoughts. That's let's not sugarcoat it. E-thoughts.
Ethos.
They don't know much about the internet. They go to college. I'm not even sure. They walk in the street. They look at people around them, and they just try to pander to that. But the thing about Belle Delphine is that she pandered to meme culture, to the internet culture. So if you look at all her posts, the jokes, the trolls that she makes are all designed in the same format that memes go by. You know, like gamer girl bathwater. And you know, if you read it, it has a lot of gamer girl jokes. It's a meme. So she pandered to that audience, which is the audience that actually predominates the internet. So it's not that she's smart. It's just that every e-thought out there is stupid and pandering to the wrong audience. She just happens to do it the right way, to the right people.
While I don't disagree with that, it does take skill and understanding subtlety and the correct moves to do. And she may not be the one who's doing it. She may be just the face. It may be like a group of people, like a team of sorts. It could be. However, the results are undeniable. Everybody knows the most popular thing is not usually the best thing. It's very rare for the most popular thing to be the greatest of the genre, right? I'm not saying there are not people who do this better, but she's the one who understood the formula enough to get the most results.
I actually think, though, like I
Super-
actually think that Pokimane is like she wasn't doing it to this extent, but she's currently one of the more popular e-thoughts in my opinion. She's a gamer girl, right? But she follows a lot of the same trends and a lot of the same things that Bella did in terms of like her posts are all memes. She appeals heavy to meme culture. Her Twitch streams aren't really streams. She just kind of sits there and lets people compliment her. 'Cause she's
Do
a girl on the
you,
internet.
do you know what one thing Belle Delphine and Pokimane they have in common? One thing they have in common.
Vagina.
Vagina.
I mean, he's not wrong.
God damn it. God damn it. That
Oh,
was
my
funnier than
stomach.
it.
God, that was
Okay, he
brilliant.
ended it. He ended it.
God damn it. What do I do now?
Just pretend
What
like
do I
you
do
forgot
now?
what you were gonna say, Aziz. It doesn't matter anymore.
Doesn't matter.
Vagina, he said, as Aziz was holding the phallic object.
Phallic object.
No, do go on. I want to hear this. Do go on.
They both have the Kuwaiti woman makeup in common.
Ah!
Do explain, please.
Oh,
I will leave that to you guys.
Okay, does anybody have a way to actually materialize this into a
All
thought?
right.
I don't know how.
Actually, I have a story, Louis. I have a story. I was in a summer class, and we had one female in the class, and she looks quite presentable, let's say. But every guy in the class trying to be nice to her and whatnot. So I did not care because I'm straight, like this. No, right and left.
I did not care about the pretty female because I'm straight. Making a very good argument here, Aziz.
Right here. But then Ramadan came, and Ramadan is the holy month. Everybody's trying to be holy and less sin and whatever. And at the final exam, everybody was talking, and everybody of our class was talking about the exams and whatnot, or what happened in the exam. And there was one female within the circle of guys that were talking, and I was trying to look, but not to stare and gaze that much because it will look weird. And it's the first time I saw that female. And once she started talking, and it's her, but the one we had in class, she was white and pretty. This one, she's black and has holes in her face. This is the Kuwaiti makeup.
Yes.
It transforms women. Dude, women in Kuwait, they don't apply makeup. They dive makeup. They eat makeup. The makeup. This is the Kuwaiti makeup. It's so much. They put so much. Dude, the idea of the word so much cannot even define it. Dude,
That's just what thoughts do in general, though, because people do that here.
Dude,
No,
I've been into the US. I've been into Europe. They don't apply makeup that much, but thoughts streamers, they do apply the makeup. Dude, they apply way too much. Dude, look at Pokimane. You don't see a face.
Of her job is makeup.
Dude, no, she applies way too much makeup, and same goes for the Delphine woman. And dude,
Okay.
it's the Kuwaiti makeup. It's going over there.
I have a perfect meme for this situation. It's a Kuwaiti meme I saw somewhere. I don't remember, but it goes something to the effect of some guy posted a picture of like a makeup kit. He's like, "What? Why the fuck would somebody spend so much money on this?" And then a comment comes out after it, and it's like, "Oh, you don't know, man. This thing can turn a Camry into a fucking Jaguar."
actually, I'll post an actual meme in the chat.
You can post it in the other chat too.
In the comments so people can enjoy it as well. I don't even need to understand the caption, just the face alone.
It says, "This is why kids are prohibited from attending weddings."
Dude, they put too much makeup. They're not real. Their face has like 1 inch thick layer of things applied upon layers upon layers upon layers upon layers. Like, holy shit. It's too much.
Women's faces are just worse than in Indian color festivals.
You know how in Egypt, like in the pharaohs and whatever, they would put too much makeup, and basically the Arabs looked at that like, yeah,
That's an actual look. It's called the Pharaoh look.
yeah. They looked at that and they're like, huh, this looks legit. And I think the attribute of that is in Europe, makeup is used to enhance features, right? That there's something that's already there, good cheekbones, good bone structure on the fucking face. You just lighten it up a bit, you put it here, you put a little bit there, you look pretty. In Arabia, some people cannot, like, there's nothing they can do, you know? They don't have the cheekbones. They don't have the bone structure. So they compensate. But what happened is that the culture of compensation also traveled to the regular female that is decent looking. So instead of the decent female applying small enhancing, face enhancing features, they're like, I have to paint my face. Because otherwise the female culture will not accept me, and therefore the male culture won't either.
The thing is, you know you went overboard when if you want to apply makeup, you need a 3D printer.
You reminded me of that episode in The Simpsons with the fucking was it the makeup gun?
I think I know what episode you're talking about.
Well, no one knows that instead of me and Louis.
Yeah, I never watched it, I think.
Yeah, never watched Simpsons. Never watched the other one with the white
Look at
people.
these uncultured swine right here.
No, I watch The Simpsons if it's on TV. I wouldn't pursue it. You know, it's not IQ enough for me. I watch shows like Rick and Morty. You know.
Oh God.
It's for intellectuals, they said.
Actually, the teleporter can be possible.
What's the deal about Rick and Morty? What's my cousin? He's watching it, he's enjoying it, and he's recommending it. What's the deal about it? I don't get it.
First things first, Aziz, don't watch it.
Okay,
it's not for you. Okay.
Nice.
Second, Rick and Morty is basically a sci-fi put into the cartoon edgy comedy formula, and people would watch it, and because it has science in it, people thought that watching it made them smarter. And
like all the jokes are smart, and you need to be smart to get the jokes.
Which you're not. Half of them are fart jokes, literally. Right?
Dude, every box of like buying all seasons of Rick and Morty should come with a free fedora.
There's that part where they go like, I'm Pickle Rick, look at me. Pickle Rick. I really like that part. It was the good part.
Yeah, that's basically the meme that represents the show.
Now,
also the meme of the Szechuan sauce and the video of all the people that are going into McDonald's or other restaurants and demanding Szechuan sauce, and if they don't get it, they spaz out. They like put their shirts over their head and start spazzing.
Just don't, Aziz. As an advice, don't. Just
no, don't worry. I trust
you
your
want to
advice.
enjoy it. Yeah. So
I mean, Aziz, as the devil's advocate in the group, you can listen to Trillion, or you can have a little fun and listen to me. Do give Rick and Morty a chance. Give the first the half of a season a chance.
I don't know what's your credibility as an infidel, but I'll take it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, here's the thing.
You'll thank me later.
I do want to cover this. And earlier, and back in our infidel days of the anime law, I did I did talk about this, and I want to expand. I think I've finally broken the formula. We talked before about why female comedians in particular are not funny, or it's very rare that they're funny, right?
Finally.
And now after like a year or 2 years of research, I think I finally cracked the code. Okay, I think I've watched enough failed female comedians to know what I'm talking about.
Define failed first, just so people get a recap.
Basically, like, we're not talking Amy Schumer level. We're talking about.
Hold on. 1 second. Proceed.
Yes.
Now, the way it goes is, like any female who would jump on stage right now, like they would show up and then they would have good jokes, right? We're not talking Amy Schumer. We're talking about people who actually are funny. Like if the jokes they write are powerful, they're edgy, they're very good, right? But for some reason, when they're delivered, you hear the crowd's reaction, and you see your own reaction. Both of them is like, that was a good joke, you know. And it boggled my mind. Why am I not laughing? The joke is good, right? And then I realized the main failure of the female comedian is their delivery. And it's not just about timing. Some people get the timing right, but even so, their delivery is bad. And the reason the delivery is bad is one of two reasons. Either they're too slow or they're too fast. And what happens is, I don't know if it's just the way they talk, maybe they're nervous on stage, maybe every time I see a female comedian talk, she's either, I have a joke and it's very good, or I have a joke and it's very good, right? There's no understanding of the subtlety that makes comedy comedy, because it's not just about saying the joke and the joke being good. That's what memes and Reddit is for. That's what the YouTube comment section is for. It's about saying something in a way and at the right time, the right moment to make the crowd go nuts, right? So that's number one. Number two.
Okay, but to comment on that first, Trillian,
Sure.
I'm sorry, but I can't agree with just it being as simple as the delivery. I know that you have more points, but I tend to subscribe. I don't subscribe to the idea that like men are naturally gifted more funny than women. But if I had to pick a reason why, it would be the Christopher Hitchens reason, which is the biological reason that men have more of a reason and a purpose to try to be funny in order to impress women, in order to seduce them, as opposed to women trying to do that to men.
I'm going to expand upon the Hitchens example, right? So I looked at the like the subtlety, the movement, the way it's presented, and the crowd reaction, as well as my own and the people around me when I watched a female presenter comedy bit, which happened to be good jokes, right? And I noticed something. One of the things that make guys funny is the fact that when you say a joke as a guy and it's powerful and edgy and timed correctly and all that, the consequences of its failure are higher for a man than it is for a woman. Think of if you're sitting with a female in a date or in a group and she says something funny. A lot of times people would laugh out of politeness, right? A lot of times they can't. The joke's not funny, but they do that nervous laughter thing. And I've noticed that whenever the crowd reacts to a joke a female says, they do that. They do the nervous laughter. And I think one of the reasons that happens is because the consequences are not as dangerous as it is for a man to say something. Think Louis C.K. when he says the pedophilia bit, right? He says the pedophilia bit and people go nuts and laugh. How could he say that? But if a female says the same pedophilia bit, it's less powerful. It's less scary. She said pedophilia, right?
Naughty girl.
Yeah, right, exactly. So what happens is that because the consequence is less and the judgment is less, the joke becomes less funny, because one of the parts that makes something funny is the fact that you got spooked, but if the spook is gone and the relief somehow gives you humor, gives you laughter. A lot of times it's relief.
So it's like Colin Cowherd's example, where he claims that in all good comedy there's cringe, and that if in order to make the audience feel the cringe, it has to be delivered confidently, and that's a talent that women just don't have as well as guys.
I do have a story. I do have a story to back what you said. Back in 2012, we went to DC for the election for the for the Kuwaiti United States students thing, and one of the events was a stand-up comedy, and one of the guests, one of the hosts was a female Kuwaiti woman who spoke only English. She looked tomboyish, and that was back in 2012, where people are still mildly judging. And she spoke only English, and she was tomboyish. So when she walked on stage, like judging mode activated. Whatever she says are gonna go through a lot of filters. She's a woman that speaks only English in a Kuwaiti event. You know what I'm going for. And
Okay, go on.
and the joke that I don't remember any of her jokes, but the one joke that really struck my mind when she made a joke about Justin Bieber can't have not having the ability to have a boner, and the joke was funny
Right.
as hell. The joke was funny as hell, but I could not laugh. I was weirded. How can a woman say that? It comes back to me as a man, as a culture, like it's cultural. Like I'm a man hearing a woman telling a boner joke. And she's Kuwaiti. She's like me, but she speaks only English. You know what I'm coming from.
Yeah, what I'm proposing here, it's not only cultural, it's kind of biological, and that's the Hitchens example, right?
Yeah, it's biological. When she says the boner joke, like I'm a man, she's a woman. I'm supposed to say that, not you. That's why it was weird. It was funny. That's the only joke I remember, but still I did not laugh because it was weird.
Now, I will go back to my argument that I presented last time to emphasize this, and it was the only time I legit laughed out loud at a female joke, and it was at one of the roasts, like, the roast of Donald Trump, the roast of Charlie Sheen, that show. And what happens is everybody is supposed to make jokes that make fun of the staff and of the person that's sitting on the chair of the roast, right? So what happened was when the females showed up, they threw their roasts, and I laughed. They were powerful. They were scary, right? And one of the things, I studied this a lot, and the reason I think I laughed is because that the woman was coming from a position of strength. When it's a roast, the concept is different, right? The person who's roasting is clearly on a higher pedestal, a stronger position. When you're a comedian going on stage, that's a vulnerable position. Whenever you're on stage and you're sitting and you're throwing your jokes, no matter how good your jokes are, no matter how good of a comedian, no matter how good you're making people laugh, you're still in a vulnerable spot until that mic gets put down. And you have to keep the momentum going. Not only are females less equipped to handle the vulnerability spot, people in general are less equipped biologically to handle a female being in a vulnerable spot that long. And it shows. Yeah.
The thing is, how many times have you looked at an awkward comedian who happens to be male and thought, he's awkward, oh, cute? Nobody says that to a male comedian. But for a female comedian being in that vulnerable situation, if she's awkward, I can bet that a lot of people in that crowd and the people watching would be like, oh, that's cute. So that adds to your point, which is there's a less risk going on in it. Like, if you fall, you won't fall too low, but you can't climb too high. It's messed up. I don't know.
No, it's not messed up. It's true. That's why the first point is so powerful.
No, it's not messed up in that sense. I mean, messed up as in it's complicated. It's a mess.
It's complicated. Yeah, it's a mess. There we go. So, the reason a female comedy is going to evolve, because I don't want it to die. I want to see what this side of humanity has to offer, right? For it to actually mature and become as good as male comedy in general, I think what should happen is that they should understand how their jokes can be digested in a funny way. And this is the first step, knowing why you can't be funny in these aspects. That's step one, and I think it's very necessary because a lot of times you look at the comment sections of these female comedians presenting their bits, and again, the jokes are good. I can't deny that, right? You go down and you see people saying the same thing almost always. Wow, she's so funny and so cute, or she's so funny and so pretty, right? And a lot of people are like fangirling over the looks and the attractiveness of the female more than they are about the jokes, as if they're forcing themselves to laugh out of a sexual attraction. And this is another important factor.
But isn't that just
consider.
the Hitchens example exactly? In reverse, though, not necessarily in reverse, but like with the role. Actually, that is the Hitchens example. It's like even when guys listen to women, they're laughing out of the necessity because they feel like they have to if they want to get with her or to be nice.
Yes. It's like I'm only adding to that example. I'm not subtracting from it. I'm adding more examples, giving it a more concrete look. I'm exploring it in another angle to prove its effectiveness or its validity, rather. It's I don't know how the females are gonna fix it, but I need please hear this out, right? Hear this out, and then move on,
Well,
as all mentioned.
The solution is on you, but that's the problem.
Yep.
Here's my personal advice for female comedians is that, in my opinion, they need to stray away from sex jokes. They are so over. That's all you hear from female comedians.
Yeah, they have to.
Sex jokes.
Dude,
And Amy Schumer permanently dug them a grave in that department.
My vagina.
until like my brain changes in the next 10 years, sex jokes are not good for women. Like, it's just how we function. It's not that we are bad. It's just how we function. Like, I cannot.
It's a funny thing.
If I go, I don't know. If we go to the Devon meeting, let's say to the Devon, and we are guys talking, no women, and one guy says like a sex joke, everybody's gonna laugh. But if we have a woman with us, and when that girl says a fucking sex joke, it will be a fucking awkward. It will be awkward as shit. Nobody's gonna laugh because it's just how we wired. It's still too early for women to tell a boner joke.
No, I'll take it further. Here are the two big things about female comedy that makes it suck: sex jokes and jokes that fit in fucking Adam Sandler movies. Okay? That's what they do, right? They either tell you about a sex joke they had, or they tell you about some romantic comedy type of stupid scenario. Even if it has an edginess in it, it's still the same fucking vibe. And no wonder that those romantic comedies are so popular with females. They find that funny, right? So,
dude, rom-com is fucking famous everywhere. This is how they thrive.
But it does not work it doesn't work in stand-up. That's the problem.
And I do believe that part of the push for why sex jokes became so popular with women, with female comedians, not saying that they don't exist with the male comedians. There are plenty of male comedians that exercise sex jokes. It's just that compared to like women, I sometimes think that's all they have. I've watched a Whitney Cummings special before. I've sat through that. It's nothing but sex jokes. I have unfortunately sat through an Amy Schumer special. Partially too sorry. And it is only sex jokes. Everything comes back to my vagina, like you said. And I think part of it has to do with the fact that, and I hate to defer this back to feminism, but that movement put women in charge of their bodies, and they think that if they make sex jokes about them having sex or like the many guys that they sleep with, that they feel empowered at the end of the day because they're making jokes about them being in positions of power by making sex jokes.
I don't think it's that one. I think it's coming from a different thing. The whole idea of jokes, especially with something as up front as stand-up, you need to have an element of outrageousness. Think of the example of Louis C.K. and his pedophilia joke, and how that doesn't work here. Sex jokes with guys Guys love sex. Everybody knows that. It comes as second nature. But when a woman says it, it's like, oh, look at me, I'm being outrageous. I'm doing it. It makes sense to them to use that topic more. I don't think it has to do with feminism. It just has to do with this is a topic that we don't usually speak of out loud. It's a more private thing for us. But now I'm putting it out loud and I'm putting it in your face. So laugh at that.
It's usually not only sex jokes, and this is the clarification I want to make. A lot of times it's jokes about gender, about being female. So, again, my vagina. And, it's like, if you're a black comedian, all your material is about being black. If you're a woman, all your material is about being a woman. And to me, like, I honestly don't like that. I know that a lot of comedians need to use it because that's the first thing people look at. So that's the thing people expect. And, they want that perspective, but don't milk it. Don't make it the only topic. And actually, like, speaking about female comedians, if you remember, Trillian, I showed you a few, which I thought were funny. Like, I was laughing, actually. And the thing about them, they didn't make any jokes about gender or sex. But still, it's, even these, you found the problem of delivery, the problem of risk. So, and honestly, that I think that's an important perspective that we need to look at, is that who's the audience? Because some people will find it very funny and some people will not find it funny. So, you made a comment about, like, and I remember you made it now and you made it before, is that female comedians lack in delivery, but the jokes are funny and they sound like something you'd read on Reddit or Tumblr. And to me, those are hilarious. I love them. And when I watch these comedians, I'm laughing my ass off. Because maybe I don't care much about delivery. Maybe I like this, let's just say, wholesome vibe that these comedians have. Because, it reminds me of Tumblr jokes. It always has this wholesome vibe to it. Even if it goes edgy, it has a wholesome vibe. So I guess maybe also the audience is a factor. So which type of people like which type of comedy? I think that's also a very important factor.
I want to expand on this. And I'm going to use a concept I learned from Aziz. And for Aziz used to do magic, right? And what he told me was, you won't believe what silly, useless, simple tricks you can get away with once you impress people with a few strong tricks. So if you lead with a math trick, people will not be very impressed. But if you lead with a few stunning bits, and it gets locked down that you are a magician, you got in their zone, and then you pull off a simple math trick, even better, you have them do it to show how magician you are, right? They go crazy on that bit because they're already in the zone. They're already in that they're done, right? They're here for the show. Now, I noticed something about female comedians, right? Is whenever they do a sex joke, they lead with it. And that's a big problem. Why? Because you turn people off very quickly. So maybe as a suggestion, again, you don't lead with your black joke. You don't lead with your redhead joke. Bill Burr never leads with a redhead joke. You lead with something that's actually funny, and you keep that pattern going, and then you bring in that sex joke or whatever, right? And when you do that, people are already in the zone. They're already laughing. You've already got them on your groove. Now you can use simple jokes to slam it down. You can use some racist jokes. You can make fun of yourself. And because they're already in the zone, they're already laughing, they're going to keep laughing. And that's another thing.
If they're already in the zone, they'll forget you're a woman. They'll look at you as a human. They'll look at you as a comedian. So, it doesn't become my vagina, If, like you said, definitely. If they throw it after that, people look at the joke, not who's saying it. So establish yourself as, a good comedian on stage. Establish your weight, and then do whatever you want.
One more thing, I think female comedians lack, and all females lack in general, it's contemplation. Like when you contemplate something silly, you can make it into a joke. easily. Like look at some Bill Burr's bit. Like how long did you contemplate this silly idea to make it a joke? Like the pumpkin, the old guys, the old man bit, and everything. It's not a result of an adventure or a very wild, I don't know, crazy thing. It's just a contemplation. Like I thought about it for a really, really long time, and I turned it into something funny. And this is what we guys excel at biologically, the contemplation, because we can zone for hours with nothing. We can do that. Females cannot do that biologically.
Basically, guys are... Basically, guys are very easy to entertain. The male brain is very easy to entertain, and very easily can find entertainment in simple things. While usually, of course, I don't think that falls on everybody, because I did see examples on both sides. But the female brain is not very hard to please, and I think that is actually a Louis C.K. bit, where it's like, we have this simple male brain who can watch a game for like hours.
No, that's
like,
Billy.
That's Bill Burr,
And
the woman's like a lizard.
Yeah, it's like a chameleon, or like, looking at the shoes and look at the skinny bitch, she thinks she's cute, and so yes, in general, there is some truth to that. Of course, I get a lot of that.
Here is a perfect example of a Bill Burr bit that, if like that, to me, that's like a genius comedian move, and it links into both things you said. He was like, I was sitting there watching like hundreds of hours of videos of people being bit by snakes, right? And I was like, every time like a snake bites, like, that's what you get, you dumb fuck, right? And everybody goes bananas at this joke, right? It's so stupid, right? And you hear how it's the way it's being said, why it's funny, how it's funny. It's because you've always had that moment, right?
Yeah, you can relate to it. Not a vagina,
right? You see it, you see it. And I'm like, I've done that, not with snakes, but I've done that, and that makes me laugh. And then you go to female comedians, right? And they always want to make that over the top scenario, right? Everything is over the top, and you know, it's like, okay, that's not funny because I can't reach it. I can see the joke, but I can't. It's not here. It's not in my heart, you know. And the funny thing is, both males and females can laugh at the snakes bit, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, going over the top, I don't think is by itself a bad comedic tool. Mainly because I think that's the bread and butter of Louis C.K. He takes a simple point, but doesn't express it in a comedic way, but actually takes it and dissects it and shed light on it and keep describing it and describing it and describing it in a way that, like how if you keep repeating a word, it starts sounding funny and it loses meaning. It's kind of like that. When you take a situation and you just shed light on it and go over the top with it, you start putting it in this very funny zone. So by itself, I don't think it's a bad thing. But for example, Louis C.K. mastered how to do it. Usually females don't master how to do that. But by itself, I think it's a very effective comedic tool.
Let me explain what I mean by over the top. So they give you an unrealistic scenario that only she would encounter. And then she would explain why that's funny, right? And it's funny. It's true. It is an enjoyable joke, but you can't relate to it. That's the thing about stand-up. You have to reach it, right? So when Louis C.K. says, like, if you think about the risk of being a pedophile and the reward, it must feel really good, right? Everyone's like, they all relate in the cringe and the horror of the moment, right? He reached the spot. And then he's like, not to us, to him, right? And then he panics, and the panic is relatable. Having a fucked up thought and trying to piece it out of your head. But when you hear, again, the female comedian presenting a bit, it's not that. There's no point of link besides the situation being sort of absurd.
My favorite Louis C.K. bit is when he the I have a fucked up thought, but maybe.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
he's
oh,
able
yeah.
to link the thought. Slavery was the worst human tragedy we have ever committed. But maybe
And just
nothing would have ever
just-
gotten done without enslaving people.
right, and he always gives the pause when he says maybe, and he leans in, emphasizing the contemplation.
And in my opinion, that's the joke. It's not even the punchline afterwards, because the punchline
Yep.
is almost obvious, right? It's like, yeah, it's horrible, but yeah, slavery helped us do all the fucked up shit. But oh my god, the part I've never laughed so hard in my life when he goes, but maybe, and you know what's
That
coming.
is the punchline.
Actually, actually, like, actually, when you listen to that bit, when he reached the slavery, he didn't even need to say maybe. He just said slavery is horrible, and people knew where he was going with it and started laughing immediately.
They knew.
It's genius. It's genius.
It's just
The only two guys that are allowed to tell over the top crazy situations without the audience getting lost are Jeff Dunham and Fluffy.
Oh, Gabriel.
Jeff yeah, Jeff Dunham has the dolls. You cannot relate to a doll, but it's funny because it's a fucking doll. And Fluffy, he has all these voice things that he does, and with the fucking accent and whatnot, and it gets crazy with him, and everything gets crazy and voices and shit. This thing you cannot relate to, but it's fucking hilarious. These two guys, because they're special, they can do that. But as a regular,
it's very difficult. Yeah, it needs a master. It's one of these. It's a niche, right? What's that Indian comedian, like Indian American, who his
Russell
entire
Peters?
bit is Russell Peters, right? What's his niche? His niche is making an absurd culture relatable, right? That's his thing. So he picks a culture and he's like, okay, Russian is, when you speak Russian, it's like speaking in reverse, and then he demonstrates, right? And then he goes for another culture. Arabians are weird; they'll never say no, and you as an American would never get this, right? But then you hear how he describes it, and you're like, okay, I see where this is going, right? You don't need to know anything about the culture besides the fact that he's describing it to you, right? And it's absurd. He's taking an extreme, but it's funny because he's mastered the craft in that way. Now, again, that's the thing about female comedians. They don't have the chance to attain mastery because people laugh out of nervousness, like, like.
Oh, that might
It's
be
weird. Character and presentation and vibe, atmosphere, all of that stuff is crucial, especially when you have a set of them that are tied to you. They allow you these perks, like as you said, that let you get away with things that no one else would. I was watching a Robin Williams stand-up, and for the entire first 20 minutes, he was warming up. He was going back and forth through the crowd, messing with people's hair, wearing their coats and making fun out of them, and poking them around physically. And no one can just go around and do that. People will be creeped out, but it's because Robin Williams. It's because he has this vibe to him, his character. He can do that, and that applies to every good comedian. They have a niche like that.
Also, because Robin Williams was probably on cocaine.
He's always on cocaine.
Do you know what females I respect out of just professional courtesy? They knew what I have to do and they did it, and they don't care about any stigmas and whatever or any stereotypes. Are poker female players, professional players. They have a strategy. They have a strategy, and they all do it. The strategy is TOT, tits on table.
It works.
I shit you not. I never saw a female professional poker player without her tits showing up. All in. She leans forward.
Literally.
You use what you have, man. I'm not against it.
Dude, I was.
I wish I can
I
sell
was.
my
I was watching Daniel Negreanu's, a Canadian. I think he's Canadian poker player, Mr. Negreanu. Mr. Negreanu. He reminds me much of myself. Like at a certain point when I play like games with my friends and whatnot, I lose the poker face because they are my friends. It's hard to poker face your friends, and I start talking and going crazy and over the top just to try to hide shit. And I think this was my weakness. But when I saw Mr. Negreanu, and he was every bit like this with strangers, he was talking to them, telling jokes, and he's the only guy who's talking on the table. It's amazing. Anyways, and every female poker player, she's like wearing a super tight dress, super smexy red, shiny red, and TOT and everything. And the guys were like t-shirt and do you know the worst poker players? The ones that wear the cap and the fucking glasses. They are the worst.
Yeah, because they take the term poker face way too seriously. The guys that never smile. They just I don't have any glasses on me, but they're just like
and not fantasizing too much about Mr. Negreanu. He's amazing. He's a show by himself. Like watching him play is a show. But coming back to the point, like female poker players, they're TOT masters. They know what they have to do, and they did it. They don't care. It helps them win.
No, it makes sense for one reason. When somebody like Mr. Negreanu here talks and is pleasant and is just, it looks like he's trying to have a good time, or when the female shows up to the poker game, sits on table and all that, it distracts the players from the, what do you call it, the sneakiness of the brain. Because if you see somebody's just talking, you let your guard down. It's okay, he's not to worry about. These guys are not talking. There's something going on there, right? But when you talk, they're like, okay, you stop worrying about the guy who talks. Because, I can read him. Of course, he's talking. Of course. But in reality, he is the most dangerous.
In reality, he is the sneak 1000.
Yes, yes. Hiding his sneakiness in plain sight. Because the guy who talks, the funny part, like whenever I play a game that's related to like poker and all that, like any bluffing game, right? What you do, for me personally, is I would look at my hand, and if I don't react, they can read me. But if I talk and look at it and pleasantly go on, everything is hidden.
Yeah, because if you have a blank face, any subtle change is more amplified. But if you're already laughing, that extra smile that shows up on your face, nobody would notice it. It's actually a very valid strategy.
And you can use it as an art of distraction too. So, like you take the cards, and as you're talking, you nod, and then you keep talking, right? And the people would look at that, and then it was like, okay, he nodded. That means something, right? He let it slide. When in reality, the nod is actually the bluff. All right? And then you see it, you nod, and then you keep talking, and then you put all in a poker game. Everybody's like, okay, this guy got that guy got a beast 10. I gotta pull out, right? When in reality, it's nothing. And it's a simple nod. As you're talking, the talking really hides it. So yeah, I understand that very tremendously.
What happened? What happened to just injecting anesthesia into your face and get it over?
Botox in your face.
Imagine showing up to a poker game like you just came out of a dentist cleaning. Hey guys, we playing poker? What's your hand? No, you can't see mine.
You have half a smiling face. You have just fucking palsy or something.
Or are you facing front or backwards?
Yeah, you have like a cavity, so they like numb half your face, so half of it's smiling, the other half is like, ugh.
Yep.
Trying to play poker. What do you have? But before we wrap this up, I did want to ask something that was actually asked in the comment section. What is, out of curiosity, who is rather everyone's favorite, if you have one, female comedian? Everyone just went silent.
I want you to name a female comedian other than
I cannot name you one.
other than Amy.
Aziz is like, I failed this test.
I want to engage, but I can't.
I'll look it up. I know her face. I don't know her name.
It better not be that John.
You know,
John.
It's not Bill Delphine. Don't worry.
Bill Delphine
no.
is my favorite.
I think I got it. No, I think I got it. I think my
Actually,
favorite.
yeah.
I think my favorite female comedian is by far, like, hands down, Hillary Clinton.
I was gonna say the exact same thing, brother.
Dude, that's the meme. Oh my god. he took it out of everyone's mouths. Now I actually have to give a serious answer.
Actually, I wanted to look up some comedian. First of all, does it have to be a stand-up comedian?
Just,
Yes,
comedian.
No, because that would narrow it too much.
fair enough.
So, if that's the case, then hands down, my favorite female comedian is YouTuber Seanhead.
oh, intellectual alert.
I cannot not laugh at her jokes, which are all about her being suicidal, at how dumb people are.
Who is she?
She just rants about random. She actually rants about SJW stuff and like multiple things, and it's just funny.
Is she Darkrai Q8 level? Is she Darkrai Q8 level?
Just like
She's not there yet, but basically she's the girl that did the 20 did like all the answers to the BuzzFeed questions for females with a female answering. She did those.
And she like watched the compilation of like SJW videos, and she's like, every time they mention Trump or the wage gap or this or that or the current year, I'll take a shot. And by the end, she's just slurring her words.
I actually hadn't considered Seanhead, but I will say this. She does look a lot like, she shares a strange resemblance with my favorite female comedian. I will roll with stand-up in this time. Sarah Silverman, just because she does have the sex joke category, and every stand-up female comedian does. But she's a Jew that makes one of the better, or some of the better Jew jokes, in my opinion. And she can get away with it in this sensitive time because she is one. So I'll roll with her.
List of female.
Top 10 female YouTubers.
Is there anyone? Yeah, it's like people are looking up female comedians. Who looks the hottest?
Margaret Cho.
Well, the best female comedian is Gloria Borga.
Gloria Borga.
Rest in
Oh,
peace.
I just want to say every female politician's name: Theresa May, Hillary Clinton. Just
Ilhan
like,
Omar.
Dude, trust me, Theresa May is a joke, but not a funny one.
Honestly,
She-
I could take Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez as a comedian. Some of the things she says, the ovaries on her to put out that Green New Deal and unironically send it to the Senate thinking that it would pass. That's gold right there. Let's introduce every socialist policy the world has ever seen to a capitalist country all in one bill. Let's see what happens.
No, I think I got it. I got my favorite comedian. Okay, that bitch and that Australian fucking like debate they had with Jordan Peterson, right?
Oh
and
my God.
the one that said I am a devout Catholic and a Marxist, unironically. She has to take the cake. She has to take the cake.
The ones are always the ones that mean what they say, right?
By the way, how did the Miss Ilhan Omar made it to Congress? She's not U.S. born. She is a U.S. citizen, but she is not U.S. born.
You don't have to be U.S. born to make it to Congress. Only
You just can't be president.
Yeah, only the present. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Does anyone else have any female comedians they want to shout out, or should we get to the real?
We're struggling here, man. We're struggling, man.
That's why I asked it. Yeah.
Shout out
There's
to
a
my
reason.
mom.
To my mom.
My mom is funny.
There was the stand-up comedian who was really funny and stuff. She didn't have an expiry date.
Oh,
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Yep. Okay. You win this competition.
Yeah,
He wins this round, but
of course.
we have to do our homework. We have to find some better female talent out there since Trillian cracked the code apparently.
Yes. No. I started to. Cracking the code is when the females start being funny. No, it's just,
It'll be a while.
yeah.
But that said, it is now time to crown the MVC.
First of all, Louis, before you crown the MVC, 2 people are asking you whether you're going to a fucking party or not. Just
I saw it. They know what I'm. Yeah, I'm going, but they're asking me to bug me.
Party boy. Mm.
Yeah.
Louis, I have a question real quick. Do you eat shrimp?
I don't want to. I'm scared to answer this.
Don't worry. Don't worry about that. Let it pass. Let it pass.
No, I'm a big boy. I can address this straight up. I do eat shrimp.
Yes! Nice.
My man.
It will help you in the party. Good luck.
Alrighty then. Alrighty then.
So who's getting MVC? You name it, Louis. I don't know.
Oh Jesus. All right, 2 people were having a straight up conversation in the comment section, and I don't want to scroll all the way back. So I guess Nika Bean already won once. I guess I'll give it to Pete. Sucker Pete won this time. Most consistent. Had some good suggestions that kept the stream rolling, and he clearly commented the most. I just spat on my keyboard.
You have a keyboard?
So shout out to Sucker Pete, and we want to get shout outs out of the way.
Shout out to Darkrai Q8 for losing 8 kilos in like one day. Shout out to Abushka for actually commenting in the comment section instead of talking. Shout out to Abby.
A shade.
What?
Shout out to Abby and his Twitch Arasan. We did a stream just earlier. We did Splatoon 2, Team Chaos, Will Rule. Shout out to Louis for hanging out with for eating shrimp. Yes, there we go. And shout out to Matt for doing this in the gym. There you go.
Shout out to going to the gym to prepare for the Holy War.
Yes.
Part 2.
Yes.
Every day.
Well, I guess next up, shout out to Darkrai Q8. Shout out to Darkrai Q8. And shout out to Trillian's mom and Babushka's mom, which are apparently funny, I'm told. And lastly, shout out to Darkrai Q8.
Shout out to vaginas.
Shout out to
Oh my god, he said vagina and we all laughed.
Oh no.
Oh, I'm
Because he's a
Amy
man.
Schumer now. I'm the funny Amy Schumer. If only I didn't have a penis.
If
It's Canada. It's alright. It's alright.
I identify as an Amy Schumer.
you can do that now. You're in Canada, right? You can just go
Yes.
anywhere and say I'm a female comedian, and they'll be like, "No, you're not." And then you can be like, "I am." And if you say I'm not, I will sue you. And then you can do it too.
In my university's law, I read it. I have the right to whatever name I want.
Exactly.
I can get whatever fucking name I want. Fucking
In
Adolf
the class.
Hitler.
All right. Attendance. Hitler. Dark Accurate.
No, it has to be a full name, right? So it'd be like Darkrai Q8. Hitler did nothing wrong. All one name. Just the most vile.
No,
thing
only
you
is it
find
in
on
one
the
name. It's in lead speak.
internet.
Just like the Chinese having the American names. I have my fair share of Chinese friends. What's your name? William.
We had a Chinese.
Yeah, you look like William. Goddamn.
We had a Chinese exchange student whose name was Wayne, and we
Wayne.
never found out if that was a name that his parents gave him or that the school gave him because he refused to answer.
He's Bruce Wayne. He's Goose Wayne.
The legend is still out on it.
All right, shout outs. Who's next?
All right, I'll go next. Shout out from me being back from the dead, and actually back and from yes. Shout out from back on the dead. Subscribe to me, people, and I am inevitable.
Ukrainian subtitles coming soon.
All right, I'll do my shout outs. Shout out to the better lighting I have this time. I always look like I just came back from a golf orgy.
Actually, I noticed that. Yeah.
Yes, it looks better now. Shout out to Yasha's Canadian FBI agent who's probably gonna deport him soon. And shout out to Team Chaos on the final Splatfest of Splatoon 2. We have this in the bag. And shout out to Ender Yang. Vote Yang 2020.
Okay.
Shout out to the guy outside my gym who dances all throughout Friday night every single week.
You need to record that at some point.
I tried to put it on stream, but you know how it only shows the camera of the person talking? And if I turned on my mic, you guys would have got ear raped. So probably didn't see it. Next stream, I promise.
Okay, I'm gonna shout out to Abby's gain going up to 3,000, and your gain is up to 3,000 decibels, and my ears are just bleeding slowly.
Oh, the game!
Yes, please. The bitrate is like Minecraft bitrate.
It's fine.
And
No gain, no pain. That's what they say.
Yes.
Guys, I go to the gym, by the way.
Huh?
I go to the gym.
Okay. Shout out to
I
Aziz
do
losing.
CrossFit also. Okay.
God
Sorry.
damn it!
You can go. You can try to put that out there. Chickpeas have protein, is just saying.
I'm gonna let you swim back to your country. God damn it!
Don't steal my
'cause
joke,
I
you
swim.
fucking
I also
jackass.
swim, guys.
Okay. Shout out
Did
to
you know
Aziz
swimming
losing-
is good for your core muscles? Every muscle in your body, including your pee-pee.
Just get it over with. Just shout out Darkrai Q8 and let's call it a night.
Shout out to yes for losing 8 kilograms, which is the weight of his stomach. And shout out to Abby's stream and other fucking weeb Splatoon bullshit. And yeah, that's it. Shout out to Mustafa for interrupting me for 8 hours straight.
Did you mute him?
He got muted.
Hello?
Hello?
Damn.
Like, yes, I show.
All right, let's get out of here, guys. We have things to do.
Shout out to the salt grinder. Those are really funny guys. I like the one, the bald guy. I like the bald guy. He's really nice.
He's
I like the one with the
intellectual.
hat.
I don't swing that way. I'm sorry.
Mm. Damn.
All right,
All
guys.
right, end it before we keep talking.
Next week, Same day, same place, same time. Thanks for stopping by, and we will see you all later.
Steroids aren't that bad, you know. If you do steroids.